Giles is a former air accident investigator who worked on the Lockerbie crash and joins us now via Skype from Emsworth in Hampshire. And Colin Brown is here with me. He's the Director of Engineering at the Institution of Mechanical Engineering. Gentlemen, very good evening to you both. Phil Giles, the Australian government have described this as a very significant development. How long do you think it'll take before the authorities can establish if it is indeed part of MH370?
If it is part of MH370, the authorities will be able to establish that very, very quickly. Once they get it into their lab or into a hangar in France and have a look at it, they'll find the serial number, and that will lead them straight to the fact that it is or it isn't a part of the 777. But it looks, at first thing, as though it probably is part of an aircraft such as the 777.
Colin Brown, once they've established if it is or not, in all likelihood it looks like it is, what will they then do in terms of tests, and what do they hope to find out from it?
The key thing is to look at the surface of it very closely, because this has been ripped out of an aircraft. So the way that it's been ripped out tells you a little bit about the way the aircraft was in, the attitude it was in, the speed it was going, the sort of damage that might give some clues as to the way in which the aircraft went into the ocean. So they'll be looking very, very closely at the fracture surfaces on that piece.
Phil Giles, how usual is it for debris to start popping up so many months after a crash like this?
It's not unusual. And when you consider that the part of the ocean which they're searching at the moment is very, very remote, and you will find that things will drift and they will come near the surface, slightly away from the surface, and eventually they'll pop up somewhere. And if you look at the geography of that area, and the currents, which are taking everything westerly at a reasonably slow rate, Africa is the first bit of land it comes to. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if more pieces of wreckage do come to the surface and maybe end up on land in that similar area.
And if it does, will they slowly be able to piece together more details about what's happening? I mean, how much wreckage will they need to come to some kind of conclusion about what happened to this plane?
Well, it is a bit how long is a piece of string, really, because if the wreckage is only there because the airplane broke up either before or in impact with the water, it could tell you very little apart from the mode of the breakup. It's only if say there was some device on board the airplane, you'll find detail of that, or some structural failure, that these will give you a clue. But what we really have to hope for is that at some stage we will find the heavy bits, which will sink to the bottom almost still in the same place as the aircraft hit the water.
So, Colin Brown, tell us a bit more about the search now, still very much ongoing. This is a major breakthrough potentially, but on the other hand, it may not lead us any closer to finding out where the plane went down.
I think it may be even more negative than that, because this is quite a small piece of the aircraft. If it is the aircraft, it shows that it's really broken up into quite small pieces. So whereas they may have been looking for an aircraft on the floor of the ocean, they're now looking for pieces of aircraft. It's a much more challenging activity for them. And I'm not sure how much floats. There's not an awful lot on an aircraft that floats. This is a small component near the centre of the aircraft, ripped out. It doesn't bode well for finding a large piece of aircraft on the floor of the ocean.
What will the search team be doing now? What will they be hoping to garner from this in terms of their search area?
Well, I think they'll talk to the oceanographers, because having found this on a certain time in a certain place, they can to some extent trace back. And although it's very inaccurate, and this has been 17 months, it gives them a little bit more information about, are they looking in the right place? I think from just quickly looking at it, they are. It's not possible to be that accurate. And the fact that they've now looked for 17 months and not found anything is very, very disappointing.
Phil Giles, the authorities have vowed to keep the search going until they find something. I mean, that's a huge commitment, isn't it?
Well, it is, but I think if you put it in context and you look at the Air France 447 in 2009, that left quite a significant amount of debris on the surface at impact. And the main body of the wreckage was no more than 5 miles from the last position of that aircraft and slightly to one side of track. And it still took them 2 years to locate the main part of the debris. So I think we still have to carry on with the search. And you will need an awful lot of luck. And I think the best quote we've heard is that it's like looking for a needle in a haystack, but you've got to find the haystack first.
Gosh, it's daunting, isn't it? Phil Giles, Colin Brown, thank you.